afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and or girls. For anybody tuning in, this is Greg Romero Wilson, comedian extraordinaire, fantasy football enthusiast. Maybe am I borderline expert? Am I now in my leagues? Last week's semifinals match, and listen, for those of you who are listening to the audio podcast, and maybe you were like, "Hey, what happened to that semifinal match?" Semifinals broadcast. I don't know if I remembered to actually post it. I'm going to find out when I post this one if I actually remember to post this in the SoundCloud. So I apologize to anybody that actually that checked the audio. If you listen to the audio version of this on iTunes or on SoundCloud, you may have been like, "Hey, what the hell happened to that?" Well, I guess I forgot. Okay, something there. Okay, so anyways, but as it turns out, okay, Rich Aronovich, how are you? Talking fantasy football. I won in my Comedians League where I ended the season in first place. I went up against Jay Hollingsworth, big Irish Jay. And the thing about it was, and if you saw the live broadcast or you saw it on YouTube, you saw that Jay and I did the pre-games preview show together. I mean, he wore his Patriots jersey, I wore my Aikman jersey. I mean, we went. The fact of the matter is this, I beat him up and down the field. But he had Nuke Hopkins. Okay, and let's be honest, DeAndre Hopkins picked a hell of a week to have his absolute best outing. It was unbelievable, and I lost by 10. Okay, if DeAndre Hopkins had gotten like 30 points on the day, I fucking win. And that's still an amazing fucking day. Like, because, and listen, and what really happened also, you know, injuries are part of the game. I had Tyreek Hill, and, you know, when Tyreek was limping around out there on the field, I was worried. I was like, I don't know if Tyreek is going to be able to recover in 4 fucking days because they played on Thursday night. And sure enough, he came out there and he got almost nothing done on that Thursday night game. There was that one long bomb to the end zone right off his hands. He catches that ball, and I'm in the championship, even though I was playing against Nuke Hopkins. Now, live by the nuke, die by the nuke. I also had Nuke Hopkins in my league of record. And despite the fact that I want to win a ball, the one league that means the most is always going to be my league of record, the Silent Nation League. And so I had to... So using Nuke Hopkins, I got wiped out the number 1 seed in the Comedians League. I wiped out the number 1 seed, John Meshy Juice Mesh, in my league of record. And so that being the case, I'm ecstatic to be in a championship match, but it really, to the point where like I woke up the next morning like I should have won. I should have fucking won. It's like the day after you. What's up, Jeremy? What's up? Good to see you, brother. Welcome back to the show, man. Did you make any of your finals? Are you in any of the big championship finals? I am in 1 championship final, and I'm playing for 3rd place in my Comedians League. Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Jeremy Gumbo Christian says he loves the show. Thank you, brother. And listen, I love doing it. I love talking fantasy football. I love going through all the matchups. So listen, look at this. Okay, and that's the other thing. Like, I had coaching questions I had to do in that Comedians League. Like, did I go with Andrew Luck, which everyone was saying, play Andrew Luck, even though it's against Dallas. Oh my God. Let's talk about that game for 1 second, because as a Dallas fan, I was in Las Vegas, okay, going to watch the games. My buddy Gooch, who's a radio personality, hosts the Sunday game watching thing at the Westgate Casino, the old Hilton. So we go over there, and they're like giving away prizes. There's all these people rooting for different teams, and I'm in full Cowboys gear. Me and Jason Wolgamuth, the manager of the LA Comedy Club in the Stratosphere, we go and I'm being loud. You know, this is the thing about being loud. This is the problem with being loud. Like, when you win, it's great, but when you're losing, it's the worst. Because I'm like, come on, blah, blah, blah. And then we're getting shut out. Shut the fuck out. And every time the Colts would score, not just Colts fans would fucking cheer. Like, everyone had galvanized against us Cowboys. Because of me, it was 1,000% my fault. I got them all riled up. And they, hey, Norma, how are you, Aunt Norma? And I got them all riled up. And so when the Cowboys ate a dick, I was taking a beating from the crowd there at the Westgate Casino in Los Angeles. But I made all the right choices. So I was between Andrew Luck and Deshaun Watson. Everyone was saying Andrew Luck. I went with Deshaun Watson, better matchup. Sure enough, he delivered 26.5 points. Justin Jackson, I mean, this is a guy, loud, that's right, loud when winning, loud when losing. That's right, Jeremy, fucking, that's the way I live. Living out loud. I only go to 11. So, again, Tyreek Hill, injures his foot. Now he's hobbling around. And, of course, no Melvin Gordon, who I've been riding the whole season. And the guy I've been putting up monster points. But Justin Jackson comes in, and he does 16 points, which is still fucking admirable. That's a great fucking game. But the reality is, if it had been Melvin Gordon, it would have been 26 points, and I would have won. Justin Samuels came in. Jalen Samuels for Pittsburgh. I managed to get him. He went in. He did his job. Got me 20 points. Antonio Brown, he had a touchdown, but he really didn't do shit. When I think about the fact that I could have traded Antonio Brown for Christian McCaffrey, I kind of kill myself. But at the same time, I don't really have any other good receivers. So even the bonus point, it would have cost me one way or the other. But Antonio Brown, a very pedestrian 12.9. Tyreek Hill, 6 points. Although Evan Ingram showed up for me. I was worried about playing him because he was going up against the Titans, but that volume was there because Odell Beckham Jr. has been out. And now they're saying he's going to come back. I'm not sure whether he comes back or he doesn't. So we may play him this week. I'm not sure. And then one of my big bets, one of the things I was talking about a lot last week on this show was Kenneth Dixon down there in Baltimore. I saw him starting to take over snaps. I saw him being more effective than Gus Edwards. I thought this was the week that things... And essentially what happened to me in my quarterfinal match, where the guy went with Justin Jackson over Austin Eckler, happened to be in this one where I went with Kenneth Dixon over Gus Edwards, who I'd had but let go of for Kenneth Dixon, and it wound up biting me in the fucking ass. Gus Edwards got the volume once again. It was my mistake, and that was the one mistake I made. And if I'd gotten that right, I would have won. But I should have won. Zerline, the Jaguars, 20 fucking points. Because he has all Patriots, and they all kind of sucked. Tom Brady, 19. James White, 6. Sonny Michel, 6. Julian Edelman, 12. But then DeAndre Hopkins, 38 fucking points. It's just one of those things. And I will give him credit for this. I will say this. He played the Redskins defense. He plays any other defense in the league, and I win that game. The Redskins magically came up with 28 points from the Redskins defense. Against, of course, it was the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I thought their defense would get after Josh Johnson enough to make it a long day for them. And in turn, which they did, they got 20 points, but in turn, they turned around and they made it a long day for what's his name, Kessler. I think that's the second string that's starting right now for Jacksonville. I thought Fournette would be effective. They shut Fournette down. So I made all the right calls, and it just wasn't enough. I missed one call, and even that would have been maybe 3 or 4 more points. It would have been enough versus this 10 that he goes a 38. But by the same token, in my other league, I got 38. Or I think in that league it scored up to be 41, and I ended up just trouncing my opponent. But I really needed it though because I had Drew Brees, and Drew Brees is kind of fallen off a cliff. Sabrina, my husband's going to juice you. Unfortunately, Sabrina, I already juiced him last weekend. We're done. I took him apart. It was described by Yahoo Fantasy as a rout. So my apologies to the Taylor Mesh clan, but the Meshy got squishied. And that was the big win. And the fact of the matter is in my heart, of the 2 leagues, the one that I wanted to make the finals in the most is the one that I made. And so I'm excited to be playing in my League of Records. If I win this, which, you know what, the guy made, I fucked up though. Because my team is my team, right? I know. What is going on? Jeremy, good point. What's going on with your boy Drew? I know. Unger is hurt. Yes, Unger is hurt. That is a good point. But it wasn't just Unger. He was having trouble a game before that. Ever since the Dallas game, I don't know if Dallas, quote unquote, exposed them, or if they just kind of lost their confidence or something. But ever since the Dallas game, in which Unger fully participated, they really just haven't been able to go back to being this high-flying team. And we've seen this happen before, like teams. This usually happens with like Kansas City, where like they're winning all these games, then they take one bad beating, and then they're just not the same again. Like they realize they are beatable, and they're just not the same. And I feel like, did that happen with the Saints team? And I don't think so, because they did manage to pull out a win against a very desperate Carolina team. But yeah, I need those points. Everyone else not named Michael Thomas has 300 receiving yards. Yes, that's right. Michael Thomas continues to produce, but I mean, it has been a tough road. I need Drew Brees to come back to being Drew Brees, because it's championship week, and I need him this week. And they're up against Pittsburgh, which should be a shootout. So we'll see. Oh, are they shutting Thomas down? Everyone else not know. Are they? No, they're not shutting Thomas down. Is that right? Let's look this up. Even though I don't think I'm playing against him, but let's look up Michael Thomas. I'm going to look this up. Let's go to players. I got to see if this is accurate. If they are shutting Michael Thomas down, that will be a very tough, oh man, that really, again, that could be a season ender. But, and that's the other thing, the guy that I'm basically playing the exact team that I drafted. The only difference is the kicker, because I managed to get Greg Zuerlein. But I'm back to playing Derrick Henry, who again showed up for me like a motherfucking champ. But he's up against Washington this week. And the only good thing about Washington right now is their fucking defense. Oh, they're shutting him down. They're doubling. Oh, okay. I thought you said that he'd been shut down for the season, because it looks like, did you see Cam Newton, I think, is getting shut down for the season? This may be breaking news. I think I just saw this. And I want to check this. Yep, he's out. Cam Newton is now shut down for the season. And so what this does is this affects who is he playing this week. And they're up against Atlanta, which means Atlanta now has and the guy I'm playing for the championship is starting Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan's going up against a Carolina team that now has no chance of going to the playoffs, and Cam Newton isn't even going to fucking play. What does that mean? The defense is going to basically take the day off, and Atlanta's going to, oh my God, I may have just lost the championship right there. I may have actually lost the championship. Sarav from India wants to come on. And Sarav, I love you, but I'm not set up today to do it with the other mic, so we're not adding people on video. So that's what's happening there. I appreciate you. I love you, buddy, but I can't put you on right now. But yeah, Cam Newton shut down for the season. Oh, man. I mean, I got to hope that it's a gunslinging day. And let's be honest, a lot of these end-of-season gunslinger games that we think it's going to be high-scoring, i.e. the New Orleans at Carolina, which wound up being 12-9, these games do somehow wind up being more defensive than offensive. And I know everyone expected that to be a much more offensive game, a very high-scoring game, New Orleans and Carolina. And so I wonder now, is that going to be the same case with Pittsburgh and New Orleans? Is it going to turn out to be another surprisingly low-scoring game? And God damn it, it can't fucking throw the ball, motherfucker. God damn it. And that's where the harsh reality comes into this. It really does. There's nothing you could do. Let's see, what else? So that's out. So let's look at the big matchup. Let's look at it. Defenses are adjusting this. And that's true. They have a lot more tape to work with at this time of year. That's a good point, Jeremy, that defenses are adjusting. They just have more tape to work with. They can bring better schemes. They probably already played them once, so they have an idea of what they're working with. I think that's absolutely right. I think you're just getting better defense out of these teams now that they kind of know what each other's going to do. And I think that is a big, big part of it. So let's go back to my team, my matchup this week for the championship. Are you guys playing for championships? Do you have any matchup questions going into this week? Let's see, Chicago is playing good old smash mouth football. Oh, listen, the Bears are playing great football, but they played a Green Bay team that is limping to the end of the season. The defense is not good. And the offensive, they lost Aaron Jones. Now they have to rely on Jamal Williams, who's okay, but he's not Aaron Jones. And they have one good receiver, Devontae Adams. So, I mean, the Bears are playing very, very good football, but is it championship football? I mean, that just remains to be seen. So in my championship match, he's playing Matt Ryan. I'm playing Drew Brees. I've got DeAndre Hopkins, who as of right now is listed as questionable, but I mean, at Philadelphia, it's a great matchup. It's a matter of whether or not he plays. As you know, I think he plays. Because he's been dealing with these injuries, but he was rubbing it pretty hard coming on to the bench at the end of that game last week. I mean, he'd had 170 yards, obviously. Sitting down, no one's going to be like, what are you doing? You can't sit down. But it was disconcerting, knowing how much I need him this week. So we'll see Stefon Diggs versus Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson going against, again, Green Bay. A defense is not doing great. And Robbie Anderson is the only guy really catching balls out of that backfield. So, I mean, that's really actually a very good play. I've got Stefon Diggs at Detroit. But as we know, even though Stefon Diggs has shown great consistency here down the stretch, we never know when it's going to turn into it's Adam Thielen day. Adam Thielen all the way. Who's Stefon Diggs? Okay, so that drives me crazy sometimes. And that's what scares me about Stefon Diggs. But I need him. Saquon Barkley, he has a good matchup against Indianapolis. But Indianapolis, that defense has absolutely started to come alive. They were playing shutdown defense against Zeke Elliott last week. I mean, they held them to zero, fucking Plutarski. 0.0. And that was tough business, man. That was awful. So Saquon Barkley at Indianapolis, Mixon at Cleveland. I mean, now here's the good thing about Mixon at Cleveland. I'm playing the Cleveland defense in my other match for third place because the Cleveland defense is really, this team is starting to enjoy playing football. They're coming alive. They're playing for each other. I don't know if they think that they're actually have a shot at the playoffs, but they want to be improving on their way out the door. I mean, you could tell this is a team that wants to play and play well. Hey, thank you very much, man. Go back to work. But you can tell this is a team that's playing and playing well. And so I actually like Cleveland to come down hard on Joe Mixon in this one. So as much trouble as Saquon might have in Indianapolis, I think Joe Mixon's going to have more trouble over there in Cleveland. Okay, I got to breathe. I got to remember to relax during this show. I tend to go fucking nuts, and I'm all tense, and I'm all wild, and just going crazy, and I got to relax. I've got Derrick Henry versus Washington. I saw it last week too, and I'll be honest with you, that doesn't mean I still believe it. I don't fully still believe it. But Derrick Henry, he's got Todd Gurley versus Arizona. Now, on the upside there, Gurley's kind of banged up, and maybe if it gets out to a big lead, they pull him off the field, and so that might actually work out in my favor. If they get out to a big lead, they might pull him out and just start running it with his backup. Evan Ingram at Indianapolis. Again, he's a great volume play. Indianapolis isn't the toughest to get. I mean, he has a shot. I mean, he's been pretty good. But especially he's one of those guys that actually has gotten better with the main guy being out, with ODB being out. But if Odell Beckham comes back, well, that might make him. He has Njoku versus Cincinnati, who I like Njoku. I think Njoku is in line for a big game. It's been, he's been due for a little while now. And then here's the mistake I made in this, in that I'm playing Mike Evans at Dallas, which he plays his best when it's against a good defense. That's when he is the man. So I actually like that matchup, even though it's against a tough defense. But he picked up off the waiver wire Jamal Williams, somebody I might have been able to block if I put in the request. Maybe not. He may have got him ahead of me anyway, because I was 5 and he was 6. So, but that, I think, versus the Jets, may turn out to be, although the Jets are another team that are starting to, find their balance and find their way, and they have a good defense, and the Jets are at home. So, and whereas, obviously the Green Bay Packers are struggling, so this might be a tougher game than it looks like on paper, but it was a shrewd move picking him up, and one that I may ultimately learn to despise. I may feel bad about. Greg Zuerlein in Arizona, I think, is great. He has Matt Prater versus Minnesota. That's a great matchup indoors. I think, that's a good pickup. But at the defensive end, he has the Denver Broncos, okay, versus at Oakland, which is just a sweet-ass matchup. But Oakland, another team that seems to start to be finding its way and wanting to end on a positive note, even though they're not in the mix. They seem to be a team that's building on what they're doing going forward, not like taking the day off like Jacksonville seems to be doing. Yes, I know. So going to John Garnett, he said, what happened to football this week? All the good teams lost. Listen, it was a crazy, crazy ass week, man. It was. But if you have a championship team, it manages to weather the storm. And hopefully you did. Did you get into any of your championship matches? I got into one. I lost one. I'll be playing for third. A match I should have fucking won. I got nuked. Basically, I got nuked in one and I nuked the other guy in the other one. So Nuke Hopkins was the difference maker for sure. But I have the Rams defense in Arizona, and I know this Rams defense is looking for a bounce back, looking for an opportunity to come out there, absolutely rolling, just looking to fuck guys up, and I think this is going to be it. I think this is the big bounce back game for the Rams, which of course is bad because he has Todd Gurley, but I think the defense has a heck of a day. We're talking 4, 5, 6 sacks, couple interceptions, maybe a pick six, and a fumble recovery out of this. So that may be my saving grace. Maybe the LA Rams defense, the defense I drafted, went high to draft, in the draft. So that may be what pulls me through ultimately is the Los Angeles Rams defense. Yes, you know what? Jonathan Mesh, I got robbed. I played well above my roster. So Jonathan Mesh was the guy who was in first place, who I routed this last weekend. And he had suck a lot of dick. He sucked a lot of Greg dick. That's what happened. We stuffed it down his throat and out the other end. That's what we did. What was it? 155 to 85? And that's the thing. I mean, with this, like what you had said earlier, playing in Super Bowl and other leagues, start Mahomes or Rivers. This is a very good question. Okay, so Mahomes, we got to look at the matchups. Let's see the matchups. Hold on, I'm going to bring those up. Okay, so the Chargers, I know, are at home. Let's get this up. And we'll then figure out what is. So you're playing in the Super Bowl in your other league? Okay. NFL schedule. Here we go. Let's look at it. Let's chop it up. Okay. So where is... Okay, Kansas City's at Seattle. Ooh. My worst points of the season after juicing you twice. Tough shit. You know, it's all about the playoffs. Listen, this team isn't the team that it should have been winning the whole way. What it's done recently was what I thought it could always do, especially finally with the emergence of Derrick Henry. I talked about him so much in the beginning of the year. If you go back and watch my podcast or listen to this podcast from the beginning of the season, first three, I was like, Derrick Henry. I think one of them was even titled A Very Special Message for Derrick Henry. And so it all depends on what happens. Now, the Seahawks are playing for their playoff lives, and the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to get in there for a first-round bye, but they're playing in Seattle. We all know that 12th man is a real thing. Okay, so you got Mahomes there, and then the Chargers, let's see, Chargers have they have Baltimore, the number one scoring defense, coming to town. Oh, man. Okay, all things being equal, because Baltimore's a fantastic defense, and because Kansas City is playing in Seattle, I think you go with Mahomes. The magic of Mahomes is there week in, week out. He had a shitty game last week, and he still gave you 20 points. So, I think the floor is lower with Mahomes, because we've seen Rivers taper off at the end of the season. Mahomes is Magic Man. Since Baltimore's coming to LA, I would go with Kansas City, even though they're in Seattle. That's what I'd do. But yeah, and listen, John Garnett says, my Hawks are fucked. I don't know that they are. I don't know, because you know what? Before, Mahomes came along, the other Magic Man was Russell Wilson, to the tune of 2 Super Bowls. Okay, Russell Wilson, and in crunch time, with that crowd at his back, and we're talking about a Kansas City Chiefs team that has proven that they can, in fact, be beat. So do not count those Hawks out just yet. Hawks just lost to bench quarterback with the 49ers. Listen, I know, but they're back home. They're a different team versus them. So Rivers then. Okay, John Lee, yes. You know what? You don't want to listen to me, and you have to make your decision. But actually, yes, go against what I say and go with Rivers. Ollie Mayer is heading to the Fantasy Football Super Bowl. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations. Sarav, cut it out. You're not coming on the show. Ollie, man, good for you. I am too. I'm in one. A lot of the guys that listen to the show are going to the Super Bowl. Wish I could like this. Wish I like this. I don't know what that means. But congratulations to you guys. If you have any major lineup questions, I mean, for me, I have to play my team. My team that got me there, the team that I drafted. This is it. Drew Brees, DeAndre Hopkins, Stefon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Evan Ingram, Mike Evans, Greg Zuerlein, and the Los Angeles Rams defense. I mean, I with the exception of Greg Zuerlein, this is the exact team that I drafted to be my first string championship team. I'm putting it all on the line. They do everything. They got me here. We're dancing with the one that brung me. I say all football bets should end with the other getting a tattoo. Fuck no. Do you have an idea how many tattoos I'd be covered in? Fuck that. I'll never do that. Although, having to decide on Melvin Gordon or Chubb versus Chubb and Mack in final week. Jeez. I mean, obviously the Browns are going up against the Bengals. But I said Doug Martin should have a good day against the Bengals last week, and for some reason the Bengals decided they wanted to play football. So, but I think Chubb is he's very different. He's a young power back. I mean, obviously you want to go. Now, Mack is facing the Cowboys, who should be on the bounce back track. They should be like bouncing back from that horrible defeat last week in Indianapolis. I'd be a little more concerned about Mack. Now, the problem with Melvin Gordon is, he's going up against Baltimore, and, does he take one bad hit and then he wobbles off the field again? So, as much as I hate to say it, listen, it's Melvin fucking Gordon. You play Melvin Gordon, and then you flip a coin between Chubb and Mack, although I'd go with Chubb. For me, Melvin Gordon and Chubb, but that's me. Make your own decisions. It's your championship. You got yourself here. You figure out what to do next. The only thing I should have done was tried to get Jamal Williams and block that guy from getting on his team. That's what I should have done. That's where I fucked up. And, so for me, I can play Vance McDonald, but he doesn't see a lot of volume. I've got Tyler Boyd, but who is the number one receiver going up against, Cleveland. But again, I don't want to put my season in the hands of any of these guys. I am playing the team that I absolutely believe in, the team that I, from the beginning, was like, that's why I was so frustrated. If you paid attention to this podcast, if you followed it at all, you've seen how frustrated I've been week in and week out with this team, because this lineup should be winning, and here we are in the championship, ready to finally do what I always believed it could do. But this guy has made some very shrewd moves, and at the end of the day, he has Todd fucking Gurley. So, he has a lot of hope. He has a lot of reasons. And Matt Ryan versus a checked-out Carolina team, which I think is going to be a big. You could add 10 points to his total right now, because I think he's going to have a fantastic day against a Carolina team that's playing for nothing, not even pride at this point. So that's what in my other fantasy football matchups. Let's go to this week 16, playing for third place. This is a team, you know what though, at the end of the day, even though I felt I should win, for me, it was always about my three players carrying the rest of my team, and that was Melvin Gordon, Antonio Brown, and Tyreek Hill. And Melvin Gordon was injured, Tyreek Hill was injured and didn't do shit, and Antonio Brown barely did anything. So I shouldn't be that surprised that that game went the way it went. It was one of those things that my luck ran out. And I mean, even this weekend, I had to win. And I'm playing Jamal Williams. I went and picked up Kellen Balaj. I mean, and that's the thing. If you're still plugging in players, towards the end, you're probably, have some broken wheels. And if you're in the championship, it's a wonder. And if you're not in the championship, well, that's probably why. I mean, when you have a team that's really humming, that's how you make championships. So, I mean, in this one, obviously I still got my guys in there, but hopefully Melvin Gordon, full participant. I love that. I look for him, but against Baltimore, we'll see what he can do. We'll see. Maybe they pull him out if he gets a little dinged up. We'll see if they pull him early. You never know what's going to happen. Mike Estimate, what's going on, man? We're just wrapping it up. But she's got Ryan Wilson versus the Kansas City defense that stinks. That's a shrewd play on her part. Melvin Gordon, she's got Theo Riddick. She's playing Dalvin Cook. She's playing Odell Beckham Jr., which I guess he's trending like he's going to play. And, of course, she has Juju Smith-Schuster. And, get this, she has George Kittle, and the only reason she drafted him is because she loves cats, and she's the killer kitties. And she was like, of course I have to draft a guy named Kittle. So that's why she has this incredible fucking tight end that basically got her into the semifinals. Shermer reiterated Wednesday the Giants have no immediate plans to play a star on injured reserve. Beckham feels better this week, but the receiver would probably need to get back on the field some capacity Thursday or Friday. Yeah, it doesn't sound good for either Connor or for Odell Beckham. I don't think either of these guys wind up playing this week. I know they're going to try to, but I don't think they're going to. Like, I think Jalen Samuels is going to play, and I plan to put him in there. Vincent Oshana, what's going on? Did you see your Giants? Oh, the Giants. See, they also, I love it. We both got shut out last week. 17-zip. We got shut out even worse. I think it was 24-0. It was fucking painful. What the fuck? I knew, though, Tennessee was going to put it to you. Tennessee's taking teams to the woodshed. You watch out. Now they got Derrick Henry humping and pumping. You watch out for this Tennessee team. This team is dangerous when Derrick Henry is fucking running that ball. Okay, guys, look, I think that's it. It was a wild week. We have Dak and Zeke. You have ODB and Saquon Barkley. So go fuck yourself, okay? Sometimes you got to, you guys just sucked all season. We're still in the playoff hunt. And listen, and you say that about Eli, and everybody shits on Eli, but statistically, he's having one of his best seasons. He's completing 67% of his passes and averaging close to 300 yards a game. So you could say that, but ultimately, Eli isn't all of the problem you have there. You have a really bad offensive line, and at the end of the day, you're the Giants, and you like to suck giant cocks. So suck that cock. Suck giant cocks. You have the Tennessee defense in the final against the Redskins. Oh, my God. That is the defense to have. If you get the Tennessee defense, you really have a shot to win your fucking game. I wonder if they're available. I'm going to check on my league and see if they're available. Because that defense is going to own the Redskins this week. It's going to be brutal. This Josh Johnson's going to wish he stayed in Arena League or wherever the fuck he came from. Oh, goodness. Look at this. We'll find out. Anyways. If you believe that your team has a chance to win the Super Bowl, you're doing heroin. I don't do heroin before the podcast. I do it afterwards. And I'm not saying my team is going to make the Super Bowl, but we got a better chance than you guys do. I got go rub one out, Vincent. I'm going to go do the same. Listen, guys, we'll reconvene. Let's bring the pain. Next Tuesday, we'll find out if we won any championships. All right? I'm Greg Romero Wilson. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck and good fantasy.